to help the industry with such kindness. The corporates have an advantage of debt restructuring, interest waiver, but usually SMEs do not have that possibility at all. So affordable financing is a very important aspect of survival of SME sector. What could ITC do in the financial part and in the organizational aspect of SMEs? Connecting consuming and manufacturing market is very important. In this case, we have one particular experiment that has been initiated by ITC, which is called PACT program, connecting Africa, India and Italy. It is a pyramidal structure where the technology high country like Italy passes on their knowledge and initiative to country like India, where we fabricate and we source the raw material from a lot of African countries. In fact, I'm glad to announce that just 2 weeks before there was a delegation visiting Africa at the behest of ITC, and it is producing tangible results. Global program for greater productivity and employment is a very important issue, because ultimately our industries will face the challenge of having to, in countries like India, where the population is very high, like in China, where we cannot forsake the interest of employment, which is very important. So in this case, this is one area where we need to employ more people, at the same time have higher productivity is one what we need to concentrate on. Technology support to improve traditional sectors. Leather is a traditional sector. It was started by the British before the war. There, in and around Agra, where you have Taj Mahal, there are hundreds and thousands of cobblers who are making shoes. They still do. But just that they went on the value chain a little higher and produce better shoes and export them. And this is precisely what we need to do every other place as well. What could be done is breaking the supply chain is one of the things what we as a company I did. We were in the city of Kolkata with one of the large tanneries processing leathers. When we had to move out of Kolkata into a new area, new location, which is completely environment compliant and so, what we found that the chain, the time that takes for the leather to process from point A to point B until it is finished takes probably 8 weeks or longer. And it takes several processes where it could be broken. So we went for outsourcing at least 3 steps before what we need to export and engaged several other people. So each one was insulated, isolated as a separate entity, and that shortened the turnaround time. The financial cycle was shortened. It helped a lot, even to the bankers, because they did not have to wait for too long. This is probably one experiment that can be ventured upon, and I saw in your last slide that what you had shown, breaking the supply chain, is one of the most innovative methods that what could be tried. SMEs are also victims of trade barriers because it affects suddenly and the reactivity time is hardly available. This is something that what we need to see, that when it comes to SMEs, there must be a kind of more considerate view by developing nations, because it helps in employment. And if people don't get employed, they try to migrate. It is rather we stay in our own country to do the job better and to provide the activity well. With this, I would end and look forward for your comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. I think the list for ITC is growing longer and longer. So I hope to summarize it at the end of the talk. But I think that we are beginning to develop a type of clear mandate for this collective. And the mandate is beginning to be quite clear that we need to have some technical assistance and technical support, and that this technical assistance and support can be mobilized around sufficient and effective commercial data. I think that this morning's session also showed us that the effective use of data and information plays an important role in the value chain. So I'm going to call on our next speaker to assist us in looking at markets to encourage production and productivity. Thank you very much, Gary.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to have the opportunity to present a successful case study in this influential event in the beautiful and important city of Chongqing. In the post-financial crisis, the government unavoidably plays a more critical and crucial role in helping companies, SMEs, and farmers to export their production. Now, I'm now giving you an example of an agriculture technology project in Brunei. Brunei is a rich, small country with a population below 380,000 population. And the GDP is very high, it's 20 billion. That means the GDP per capita right now is in excess of 52,000 US dollars per capita, which make it rank number 9 in the world. But however, the economy of Brunei relies heavily on one single export, which is oil. So in the longer term, and in view of the oil reserves of the country, the situation is not healthy at all. So we have been hired by the Brunei government to give an advice of how to sort out the situation in the long term. So we come to a suggestion, and the government take it very positively and implementing already, is that we advise the Brunei government to develop a public funding in a major agro-technology park and food processing incubators in Brunei. And so that would help the local SMEs, farmers and firms to grow the producers and to export the products overseas to Southeast Asia, China, and other international markets. But a very important approach that we have is, after this study, is to focusing on the start from the market approach rather than from the supply. This will avoid any wastages and unnecessary investment. And so we suggest to them that they should focusing on their very famous and high quality Brunei, the Islamic halal branding standard. So eventually the park, the theme of the park is built on the support of the Brunei halal brand. In broad terms, the plan is to develop an international distinguished agro-technology park and food processing incubator as a part of the economic diversification strategy to lower the oil portion of the GDP and export, and to develop an incubator to accommodate the R&D activities for SMEs and the farmers so that they can improve their produces. And then to also include agriculture products and other fisheries, forestry, and related food processing. So all these are going to be built on the support development of the recognized Brunei halal brand. Now, looking at this, we are aiming at not just on the volume, but we put a lot of effort on the value of the product. And the focus of that is to face to the market in the region, China, Southeast Asia, which has a huge potential market, which in excess of 200 million Islamic population just in this area. So based on this recognized high quality halal certification process and the technology, the SME in Brunei can export the product and also to form some kind of joint venture in terms of production joint venture or market joint venture